What? Oh, don't clear your throat right when we start.
I'm just trying to do it before it's.
It was too late. Everyone heard it. They heard your phlegm noises. Boom. And we're live. Whoops, wrong camera angle. Here we go. Oh man, that one included El Caney, which, R.I.P. is no longer with us.
Oh,
I should
jeez.
probably get rid of that camera angle. Look at this, Lewis. Only starting an hour late. We'll see. Let's see if anyone shows up. You want to tweet here before we get going? Let me shoot out this tweet. This will have them rolling in. I didn't even bother to proofread this, Lewis.
Oh dear.
So just go with the flow here. And if there's any mistakes, don't come after me. I need a what was that book? The Whipping Boy. You gotta go. You gotta go after one of the writers as a substitute for me.
I'm gonna blame the COVID.
Shout out to Flipback. Shout out to Reese Grundy. Hey y'all. We're gonna let some people pour in here, guys. We have a very exciting show. We're gonna begin here in just a moment. This is gonna be our WWDC. Here's what's coming. Here's what's coming. You guys better open wide. Get ready for the fire hose. I don't know what that means. We got Jeff Drew in here. He says, sup, homies. We got Alistair Clark. Hey, y'all. So many chipper hey, y'alls here. This is great. Yeah, sorry we're a little bit late. I have been mega sick. And I'm just coming off of it. I was telling Lewis, I have not been this sick in a while. And I wouldn't say that I was on death's door, but I was definitely in his front yard. I was definitely going up the driveway. I had a super high fever. Oh man, I felt terrible. I still don't feel good. I had a fever and I feel like normally my fevers will last like a day, right? And then they'll break and they'll go away. And this one just was hanging on. It would go lower each day, but then it would vacillate between like 1 or 2 degrees. And then today was the first day that I've had since probably Monday that I haven't had a fever. And I was talking to Lewis on Monday, and then I just straight up ghosted him. He was like, "What's going on?" I don't even think I got back to you for like 2 days, did I? And I was like, "Dude, I got sick right after I talked to you." And
It happens a lot, actually.
well, yeah, but usually I'm not sick. Usually I'm fine. I just don't want to talk to you anymore.
So many people are just sick when they talk to me.
That's right. I can't be sure that's not what caused me to get ill. It's all the conversation with you. But I'm finally on the upswing, but I'm only running at like 40% here, so I'm still hallucinating. So if I say anything totally strange, or if I just start blinking rapidly and stare off in the distance like full Kenny reset mode, then you'll have to forgive me. We got Gregory Mechor Bars. Greetings from Boston. Love a remix here. Starting late, gents. Only a little bit, but you get a very aggressive yeah. And I don't want to hear nothing about it, Lewis. Budget USA is here. All right, I think we're going to just hop in and start doing the show here, guys. So let me cue up Mrs. You-Know-Who, and we will get this show rolling. Oh, Mrs. D! Oh, my. You look so pale and ghoulish, my dear. Oh, Mrs. D, I have not been feeling well. Oh, you don't look dreamy and with a beautiful complexion like my delicious El Caney, especially shirtless. Ew! God, gross. She is always going on about him. My goodness. They got a serious thing, Lewis. I don't even want to know what's actually happening there. I'm not sure I could stand it. All right, Mrs. D, we got a very exciting show to talk about here. So if you don't mind, you'd stop pontificating, obsessing over El Caney. Maybe we could get this show rolling. And whoopsie, let me go ahead and get everything ready here, and we'll just jump right in. In 3, 2, 1. Hello, and welcome to CultCast, the best 30-plus minute album conversation you're going to hear all week long. I'm your host, Eric Lights. Joining me today, he's installed a slow-dripping water line above the Cultimac writer's cage to ensure there's no unauthorized sleeping or dips in writing productivity. After next week's WWDC keynote, they can get rest on Friday when the week's over. Until then, they need to keep their eyes open and their fingers typing. He's the managing editor of Cultimac. Lewis Wallace is here.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be a big week. Big week. Big week.
All right, Lewis. If I just roll my head back and stop talking? Just give me a second.
I'll if that happens, you want me to call emergency services? Or...
You might need to. I'm just over here just sweating. Just it's weird when you get sick and then you come off of it and your fever's gone, but then you have like that weird sweat. Do you know what I mean? I've got it. I'm just sweating like just constantly. I can't stop.
And how long has this been going on?
God, it feels like it's been an eternity. It's only been since Monday.
Oh, wow.
But it was Monday. It started ramping up. Tuesday, I was like, I might die. And then Wednesday, it started kind of breaking. And then today is the first day where I'm like, okay, I'm finally starting to recuperate. But Airfon's table looking clean. You making a YouTube comeback, says Dipsy Doo. No comments.
You're setting yourself up.
Oh man. Oh yeah. I have this big beautiful table back here. Unfortunately, I can't show you guys the whole thing. So this is total tangent, but if you guys give me a second, I'll tell you an interesting story about this table. So this table is like an artifact from the university that is near my house. I live near the University of Washington, like a huge, massive university. And I found out like maybe a year ago, they have this store within the University of Washington called, what do they call it? The UW surplus store. And essentially, they just liquidate stuff from the university that they don't need anymore. And you can get all this crazy stuff for like super cheap prices. And a lot of it's just junk stuff that you would never want to use, like flower prints that somebody made on a printer and the university still has for some reason. And then some of it is incredible artifacts from the university. It's like this table behind me is this huge, beautiful solid wood table with like steel legs. And this table is probably worth $500 or $600, and I got it for $45, Lewis. 45 buckaroos.
How much does that
I
thing
think it's
weigh?
gonna be my new YouTube table.
Yep. Weigh like 140 pounds.
Yeah, and I asked my wife to help me because I had to go. You have to go pick this stuff up from the university. So I went down there and I got it right, and then I brought it home and I was like, "Hey, honey buns, can you help me bring this inside the house?" And she's like, "Okay, sure." And then she comes out and her face just immediately. Her expression changes because she sees how big and heavy this thing is, and she's got to help me bring it into the house or into the Cult Command Center. And it was heavy, man. She powered her way through it, and she was cursing me under her breath the whole way. But we got it up here.
It looks intimidating.
Oh yeah, this thing's it's a tank, man. Like I said, solid wood. Like this, just the wood on top of this desk alone. I don't know if you all have tried to buy wood lately. Probably not. Wood is like outrageously expensive right now, and this wood alone is probably worth $400, and that's without the legs. And it's got like this beautiful patina of hippie smoke and all the other stuff that probably floated past it because this desk is probably 30 years old, and it's just been in the University of Washington somewhere. And they've got like a whole warehouse. It's like that scene at the end of Indiana Jones. And the Raiders of the Lost Ark. Remember when they like store the Ark in that giant government warehouse? It's like they have a warehouse like that, just full of artifacts from the University of Washington that you can go in there and. Well, right now it's closed because of COVID. It's still closed because of COVID. So you have to order it online. But anyway, I digress. We're not here to talk about the UW surplus store. Although if you're in the Seattle area, you should check it out. It's actually a really great deal. We're here to talk about our WWDC22 hardware and software expectations. Spoiler alert, if you don't want to know exactly what's going to happen step by step, this is not the show for you because we got it all here. We got all the TIDs, all the bits, and it's going to be everything. And I think we got a few surprises in store for us. Unfortunately, probably not the ones that you were hoping for, but we'll dive into all that in just a moment. But before we jump in, let me give a very, very merry thank you to Squarespace for supporting this episode. Squarespace.com/CultCast. If you need a website, you've heard me say this before, you're such a huge slacker, and here you are still without a website. Or maybe you decided, you know what, now's the time I'm going to take action. I need to promote my business. I need to promote my skill set. I'm graduating from college. I just graduated. I'm a developer. I'm an artist. I'm a photographer. Do people still go to school to get photography degrees? I don't think so. But if you did and you're like, I need a job, a great way to get a job is to highlight your skill set online, and then you can put that in your LinkedIn profile, and recruiters can go and see exactly what you've been up to with your life. And it's a great way to get yourself some interest from potential employers. And you can also sell products and services of all kinds. You can do it all with Squarespace. I mean, you can literally just do it all. And they've got a really great e-commerce engine built in, which is what I use for CultCloth.co. Which, by the way, if you've made any orders on CultCloth.co, my apologies. We've had, oh my goodness, problems shipping stuff out. But I think we've got the grease back in the gears now. But supply chain issues aren't just hitting TC. Let me just put it that way. It's hitting all of us. Hitting all of us hard. But if you would like to sell products, hey, start a blog, feature your photography, market your business, try out squarespace.com/cultcast. I think you're going to like it. You can build a website totally free, no commitment. And if you like what you have at the end of the trial, use code CultCast at checkout. You'll get 10% off your first purchase at squarespace.com/cultcast and use code CultCast at checkout. Thank you to Squarespace for supporting this episode. All right, let's dive in, Lewis. Let's talk about WWDC22. Now, before we talk about what we're going to get, let me mention what we're not going to get, which I know this is going to be tremendously disappointing for the people who are here. Oh, wait a second.
Nope.
No, it's the mixed reality headset, so no one's going to care. But let's talk about it anyway, because it looks like that we are not going to be getting the mixed reality AR headset, at least according to Ming-Chi Kuo, who is one of the only Apple analysts who ever gets anything right. And according to Ming-Chi Kuo, the Apple mixed reality headset and Reality OS will be a no-show at WWDC22. Particularly because he says that it's just not anywhere close to being ready, and he thinks that if Apple talks about it or reveals any of the features that are going to be in the headset or the OS, then a lot of Apple's competitors are going to just jump in and copy them like they always do. Like, Lewis, that if they announce this thing and it's not released like within 2 months, Samsung is going to have a version that comes out before them, and it's going to look just like the mixed reality headset because Samsung is able to iterate really fast on this thing, on these kinds of things. But it's going to be mixed reality headset in name only. It's not going to be the same. It's like that. Do you remember that monitor that Samsung came out with that looked an awful lot like the Studio Display? You know which one I'm talking about?
No, I don't, because I don't pay that much attention to monitors.
Okay. Well, it came out right when the mixed reality display. See, this is why I told you guys I was sick.
Full scramble.
So that when I go full scramble, you could bear with me. When the Apple Studio Display came out, I believe it was the Samsung M8. I forget the name of the actual monitor, but they had this monitor that they released that looked a lot like the Studio Display. And it got a lot of press because it was, far cheaper. Yeah, it's the 32-inch. Here it is. It's the 30. I can't believe I remember the name of this. I cannot believe I remember the name of this. Yeah, this is it right here. It is a 32-inch 4K monitor. And it got a ton of press because people were comparing it to the Studio Display. And it's 4K. It has like this beautiful industrial design, and it's got a built-in webcam that you can remove if you want, which is supposed to be higher quality than the one in the Studio Display. And it looked like a great monitor, but then the reviews started coming out, and sure enough, it's not even close to the same quality level as the Studio Display is. So if Apple releases any details about their mixed reality headset and it's not about to come out, I think that this is what's going to happen. So it seems like no mixed reality headset mentions at all at WWDC in any regard. So hardware or software wise, which if you're in the chat, let me know what you think about that. And also let me know if you actually care about the mixed reality headset, because I feel like I hesitate to even bring this topic up because every time we talk about it, everyone just starts leaving. Everyone starts tuning out because nobody cares, Lewis.
Yeah, well, I am getting interested in it.
Yeah.
But and I was actually getting pretty sure that they were going to do it. I mean, like the supposed presentation of the Apple board made it sound like it was imminent. But I gotta say, the point that that Kuo makes in this thing, it kind of rings true, doesn't it? Like, we
Yep.
don't want to give the copycats 8-month lead time to pump out something that we can't produce. So, it's a big bummer, I thought, because I am definitely interested in what it is, because it sounds like it'll be interesting. I'm not sure it's going to be a hit product that everybody's going to want one, and I still can't. Every time I see an ad of somebody wearing something strapped to their face like that, I just chuckle. But we'll see.
Well, I think it's going to make a lot more sense once we actually see it. Spoken like a true Apple fanboy. Here you've got Quo's tweet. I'm sure that if Apple announces the AR MR headset and its OS at WWDC, competitors will immediately kick off copycat projects and happily copy Apple's excellent ideas and hit the store shelves before Apple launches in 2023. I mean, if it's not going to come out until 2023, when are they going to announce this thing? Maybe they're going to have. They probably will have to have a special event for it. I imagine, because it's going to be a whole new paradigm in computing. Like they have to, and they have to introduce developers to it before they release, like well ahead of when they release the actual mixed reality headset, I would imagine.
Yeah, and unless they're like, it's all about augmented reality, and they just talk a lot about that, and the stuff that they have people building for iPhone and iPad translates somehow. I mean, that's one thing that like Gurman on Twitter was talking about, saying like, I keep my eye out for new frameworks, video codecs, and metal upgrades are obviously geared toward the device, even if we don't see it. And he's also saying he doesn't think that Apple's going to show it off this time.
What I really hope gets released or announced is the Apple Car, where TC steps off stage, and then you just hear something just peel out, and he comes just peeling out and doing figure eights all over the stage.
I just don't think that's going to happen either.
That'd be incredible, though.
I can't remember who it was. I saw on Twitter was talking about the headset, and they basically said exactly what you just said. It's like, hey, Apple's not going to. This is not going to just be a 5-minute thing. They're going to have to like spend an hour explaining why we want this, why anybody.
Oh
would want
yeah,
it.
oh yeah.
And that made a lot of sense too. So
totally.
I guess evidence is, or not evidence, but signs indicate, yeah, it's going to be a while.
Yeah, this can't be a 20-minute segment for sure. They have to actually explain to you why anyone would want this and what you could do with it. I mean, it's going to take, Anyway, sorry. I don't mean to beat a dead horse because, like I said, nobody cares about the headset, Lewis. We probably should move this segment to the end. Once it comes out, I think the story will change. But for now, no one cares about the headset. So let's move on. Let's talk about what we can expect at WWDC. So, you know what? I was going to say this to the end, Lewis, but maybe we should just move this up to the front. Should we talk about hardware? Because that's really what everyone, I think, is most interested in. And then we could talk about all the software stuff that's coming, which I actually am excited about. But I think, at least it seems to me, and let me know in the chat if you guys disagree, that people are most interested in the hardware that might be announced. And it seems like it's going to be pretty light on hardware this year. In fact, we may see nothing, Lewis.
It's happened before, many times.
This might be like one of the pure WWDCs that we've had in a while, where it's really just OS updates.
Yeah, well, I mean, they've got a lot of ground to cover, man. They've got a lot of platforms and a lot of services and a lot of things. And they're talking to developers, so it's kind of nuts to think about hardware. And in fact, I mean, so the one thing aside from the headset that people have been talking about, and this one actually sounds more probable, is that people are saying it could be a MacBook Air, right? And it's just like there's some number or serial number or whatever model number in one of those crazy Eurasian databases, right?
Yep.
Pointing to this happening. So the latest renders based on it are showing all these different like colors, like maybe matching the iMac line, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Then the big question is like, some people are saying, well, it's going to get the M2, but that doesn't make any sense. Like, there's no way they're putting an M2 in their entry level computer. But then people say maybe a different version of the M1, like the M1 something.
Well, wait a second. Why do you say that it doesn't make sense for them to put an M2
Do you think it does?
Yeah, of
Would they put
course.
their most powerful new chip in their entry-level computer before it's available in any other one? I don't know. To me, it seems
Yeah,
odd.
yeah, I think that's exactly what they're gonna do.
Okay, all
Yeah,
right.
I think that they're gonna. So we've moved the transition to Apple Silicon is complete, and now that we have the Pro versions of the M1, I think they're gonna start moving on to the M2, and they'll start with the consumer grade version of the chip, right? So like the regular M2 chip, and then they'll do that for a year, and then next year they'll move on to the M2X and they'll jam that into the MacBook Pro and everything. This seems to be the way that it's going to work from now on. I tried to explain this in a previous show and I crashed and burned. So let me see if I can do it again. Here's
Oh,
here's
boy.
my theory, and I think we have evidence that this is the way the transitions are going to work now. So it's a 2-year cycle, right? So they'll come out with a new chip, the M5, and that chip will be the consumer grade chip, right? They'll put it in the Mac Mini, they'll put it in the iPad, they'll put it in the MacBook Air, and it will take them a whole year to do that. And then they'll spend the year after that doing the Pro versions of those chips. So the M2 Max, the M2 Pro, and then they'll upgrade the Mac Studio, they'll upgrade the MacBook Pros and stuff, and then the cycle goes on and on and on. That way you get a 2-year life cycle for each generation of chip and for each product, right? So like you get a MacBook Air and that chip is current for 2 years. I think that makes sense. I don't think they're going to switch every single year. That's my theory. Let me know what you guys think about that, chat. What do you think about that, Lewis? Hopefully I explained that time in a lucid manner.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. To me, it seems odd that it would come
Yeah.
out in the MacBook Air only. I guess I mean, when they first released the M1, it was MacBook Air, MacBook Pro, and
iPad.
the little guy, Mac Mini.
Oh, the Mac Mini, yeah.
So yeah, maybe you're right. I mean, it seems a little odd, but maybe you're absolutely right.
And from everything that we've heard, the M2 is not going to be the revelation that the M1 was. It's going to be a slightly faster version of the M1 with probably a couple of more GPU cores. And that's it. It's going to be slightly faster. So it's not going to eat the lunch of the M1 Max, that's for sure. But it's going to be closer. It might even edge it out in single core performance. I don't know. I'm just guessing. But so the single core performance will be, probably like 15% faster, maybe 20 if you're lucky. And then you get the extra cores. So yeah, I would love to see the MacBook Air released. I think that we might actually see that as the only hardware that gets introduced at WWDC, because they're gonna have to start the cycle here, pretty soon. Moving on to the M2 chips now that the transition is complete. It's really gonna be a stab in the buttocks, Lewis. No one wants a stab in the buttocks.
Yeah, I don't think so.
That's what it's gonna be when they outdate my M1 Ultra in my Mac Studio, and all of a sudden that hugely expensive chip that I paid for is now updated. That's gonna be a tough day. So I think Apple's gonna try and give us a little extra time before feeling that that FOMO. By the way, apologies if I keep coughing. It is what it is. I'm probably gonna be going to the emergency room after this.
Oh my God.
Well, Jeff June is asking, is the transition complete? Mac Pro. According to Apple, the transition is complete. They said that there are going to be no more M1 variants. So well, the M1 transition is complete. Yeah. So I don't know what they're going to do with the Mac Pro. Like, we've heard that they might come out with a like a M1 version, or a M2. Can't even speak. An M1 Ultra version for the Mac Pro. So maybe they double them up, so you have 4 M1 Maxes in there, or they might move to something completely different that's only for the Mac Pro. I don't know exactly what they're gonna do, but the move to the M1, the M1 chips are not gonna get any new models. At least according to Craig Federighi. Yeah.
Oh, somebody as lowly sourced as Craig Federighi, huh?
Yeah, I mean, he literally said that at the keynote. So
Oh, really?
yeah, so I don't think we're going to get another. Whatever goes into the Mac Pro is not going to be anything that we. Well, it's not going to be a new version of the M1. I guess that's all we can really say. Flipback is saying, "Do I have COVID?" I have no idea. I'm
He's
not sure.
afraid to test.
You
Can't
know,
find a test, right?
Lewis was asking me if I was going
jeez.
to test, and I was like, Lewis, I was telling my family that if there was any kind of emergency or natural disaster and we all had to flee, that they should just leave me behind. Because
Jeez.
I was like, test, I can't even get up. I can't even get out of my bed. Like I was completely incapacitated for like 2 days. So,
Is anybody else in your family sick?
oh yeah, pretty much everybody got it. Yeah, that's fun too.
That's encouraging.
Because it just goes from like person to person to person, and this happens every time
And
we get sick.
even before COVID.
Oh yeah, even
Yeah.
before
And
COVID, with anything, it
you
goes from
don't have
person to
enough
person.
moon suits to go around.
Yeah, and it takes 2 weeks for any illness to work its way through our family because it just goes from it takes. Not everyone gets it at the same time, and not everyone gets over it at the same time, right? So it just takes weeks, and it's like, especially with kids, dude. There's always somebody getting sick. I mean, we all had colds like 3 weeks ago, and I thought we were good for a while,
Colds.
and then this happened. It's just because kids are just petri dishes, man, and they're always like, oh, the other kids and
Peach tree dishes.
peach tree dishes. Good one. All right, let's talk about software here, Lewis. Let's talk about what we expect from iOS 16, iPadOS, macOS, and oh my gosh, and I'm forgetting one, watchOS. Okay, because these are gonna get some exciting new features. I think there's a big story out by the Germinator on Bloomberg this week. He did a great job highlighting some of the features that we're going to be getting, and let's go ahead and run through some of these. Let's start with iOS 16 here, Lewis. Where's my story? Boom. There it is. iOS 16, always a fan favorite, right? And I love getting these updates because it makes it feel like you're getting a new phone. Although, if you don't get a new phone, some of these features won't be available to you.
Whoa.
Oh, man. You know what? I ran out of water.
You need a giant jug.
Yeah, I need like a hose. Let's talk about iOS 16, and then I think, Lewis, while you're doing iPadOS, I might run out and grab a bottle of water real fast, because if I don't, I'm gonna just keep coughing.
Oh dear.
You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah.
And I need something to wash it back. So let me talk about iOS 16 real fast. So we already talked about some of this stuff before, but just to kind of give a refresher, always on display. Always on display. That's gonna be nice, just like the Apple Watch. And you'll be able to view like the time, who knows what else on the screen. It will just always be on. Super useful. Dynamic lock screen widgets. We don't know exactly how these are going to manifest themselves. Like, does this mean that you'll have like a moving clock or widgets that can report things from apps? We don't really know. But this is one of the big ones that Gurman called out, is you'll have widgets on your lock screen that will show you information. Now, I should point out also that according to Gurman, both of these features are going to be exclusive to iPhone 14 Pro. So you're not even gonna what?
The widgets too?
I think so. I think
thought
so.
that was everything.
We should
So
double
hard to
check
keep
that,
track.
but I'm pretty sure it's iPhone 14 Pro and Pro Max that will get both of these features. So, which is weird. You would think that they would at least bring these to the iPhone 13 Pro and Pro Max. And I'm not convinced that they won't. I think if you have a Pro or Pro Max, I think you'll probably get these features, but who knows? I mean, this wouldn't be the first time that Apple has locked features to a new phone that they clearly could have put into the current or older gen phones, and then actually did at a later point. Because what you need to do the always on display is an OLED display, right? So like, why would you not be able to add this feature to all OLED iPhones? I don't know, because they want you to buy the new phone, perhaps, and especially now that the rumors are that the hardware is not going to be that much better than the current generation iPhones. they're going to have to differentiate the new phones with some enticing software features. So they're probably more motivated to save some of these features in iOS 16 for the newer phones so that people will actually buy the new phones. We're also looking at a refreshed health app. Great. New audio and social networking features for messages. Now, this one is interesting, Lewis, because the Messages app has a lot of room for improvement. My wife and her friends use this app called Marco Polo. Have you ever heard of it?
I've heard of it, but I've never
Okay.
used it.
So Marco Polo is like this video chatting app, and the premise is pretty simple. You can, well, what you do is you send videos to one another, and you can respond with videos. And then if you pay like their premium price, you can actually reply within the timeline of when a video is broadcast. And when I saw this app, I was like, dude, why doesn't Apple add anything like this? Like, there's so much room for improvement in the Messages app. And it would be great if they added a way for you to like quickly text like video files back and forth to people without having to like go in, record a video. And they could do that, you know, so easily, but it seems like they don't ever really focus on cool features like that. So apparently they're going to be working on new audio and social networking features for Messages. So some big upgrades there. I've been using Telegram a lot lately. Man, now that's a great messaging app. It's platform agnostic. They have a Mac app. They have a PC app. They have an iPhone app, an Android app. So you can just text anyone from anywhere. And they're always adding cool new features to it. And it's free. So it'd be great to see Apple, you know, try to compete and build some of those features in. Let's see here. Did I miss anything else? Okay, so one other thing that we wanted to mention, this is from the Cult of Mac story, is the always-on display. Yes, it would work similarly to recent Apple Watch models showing glanceable information like date, time, and unread notification icons. Yeah, here it is, Lewis. However, the feature is likely to come to existing iPhones. Apple will supposedly keep it exclusive to 14 Pro and 14 Pro Max. Okay, so you were saying that you think that the always-on display feature is going to be reserved for iPhone 14 Pro. Okay, got it. And dynamic lock screen widgets is probably not going to be exclusive to...
That's what I...
Okay, you might be right about that, so I apologize. That's the first and the last time you'll ever hear me do that, so don't get used to it. So it seems like maybe the always-on display will be the only features that will be exclusive to iPhone 14 Pro and Pro Max. So there you go. So, and I'm sure there's going to be other features that are included in iOS 16, obviously, that we don't know about, because for most of this stuff, and Lewis and I were just mentioning this before we started recording, like, we don't really actually know that much. The stuff gets locked down, and we don't really get very many leaks for software stuff, do we?
Well, sometimes there's like massive ones right around this time, right? I mean, probably right after we record this podcast. But yeah, this year it's very little. I don't know, man. It's so weird, and I'm just already trying to like prepare myself for this 2 hours of flurry of software features. I mean, it's a crazy thing, these keynotes, and there's so much. It's so densely packed. There's so much information about all these new, projects and platforms and everything and how they work. It's overwhelming. I mean, you could watch those keynotes several times and still not even.
Oh yeah, totally. We got a good comment here from iCave Dave. He says, always on display is not about OLED. I actually disagree with you on that one there, Dave. But he says it's about being able to drop the refresh rate to 1 hertz, and the iPhone 13 only drops 10 hertz. Okay, so that's a good tidbit. I also think that OLED matters just because the whole screen doesn't have to be on. Like, if it's a LCD screen, you have the backlight always on, right? Bad for battery life. So I think that you need to have OLED so that you can have only the pixels that you need illuminated. But your point about the refresh rate, yeah, that's much appreciated. That's true. Because they don't want to have to be refreshing the image if it's just a static image. Like, that's how they accomplish that on the Apple Watch, so it doesn't drain your battery life. So thanks for that tidbit there. Okay, Lewis, this is your time to shine. I'm going full Lewis mode on the screen, and I'm going to let you talk about iPad OS, okay, and Watch OS. I'm going to be back in 2 minutes. And if I'm not,
2 minutes
and if
unattended?
and if I'm not back in 2 minutes, it means that I've passed out, and I'm probably in my yard.
Gee
So
whiz.
I'm gonna let you talk about iPad OS, Watch OS. I'm gonna grab some water. I'll be right back. I'm going full screen, Lewis. In 3, 2.
The world isn't ready for this.
There he is. Look at that. Okay, take it away, Lewis.
Yeah, so a lot of those features in iOS 16, the updated notifications, et cetera, interactive home screen widgets, a lot of that stuff's probably coming in iPad OS 16 as well. But there's big hope that there's going to be a lot better multitasking. This is the main thing we've been hearing. Better multitasking, including floating windows like on a Mac. So a lot of people in Cult of Mac staff actually use iPad exclusively. They use it with a keyboard and a mouse, and it's a laptop for them, right? So they're people who work like that constantly talking about how, oh man, the lack of the capability to do the floating windows it's a problem. It's a problem if you're trying to do that kind of serious work. So that's the main thing that everybody seems to be hoping for and expecting is the better multitasking with all the windows. And then, okay, let's see, Watch OS 9, supposedly coming with new fitness tracking features, a new low power mode that actually lets low power mode be useful rather than having it just be a clock on your wrist. Where's the little notes about there's other stuff about the watch. Oh, geez, I can't find it.
How's it going, Lewis? Are you
so
panicking?
The notes disappeared.
What are you trying to talk about here?
The watch. What else is coming in the watch? Supposedly a lot of new fitness and health stuff, right? I think new workouts.
Yeah, and Gurman was saying it sounds like it's going to be reorganized for organization, just the way you interact with it was what I gathered.
The way you interact with it?
Yeah, just like the organization of the OS, like
the Watch OS?
Yes, what are you talking about?
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, me too.
Okay. All right.
I'm looking for the notes here as we
It's gone. Forget it. It's fine. They're supposed to so there's been some talk of there possibly being a thermometer, a body temperature sensor in this upcoming watch. And that there would be new fertility tracking stuff, apps, female health app features. I'm not sure. I haven't heard too awful much about that. But I think they're saying new workouts and a lot of new fitness stuff, right? So.
Yep. Yeah, sorry, I didn't hear what you said before, so I'm not sure where we're at. But I got my water here, so.
I'm glad to hear it because, man, you were gone for like 14 minutes, right?
That's what it felt like. I actually ran out there, and remember I said I was sweating. I didn't realize how bad I was sweating until I walked outside and the breeze hit me, and I was like, oh, I really am sweating because I got really cold as soon as I walked out there.
That's terrible.
Yeah, sorry for those of you who are joining like halfway. I'm I'm coming off an illness that almost wiped me out. Yeah, so and this is the first day that I haven't had a fever, so I'm like finally starting to recover. But I just feel totally out of it. It's like when you have like a high fever, and even when the fever goes away, you still don't feel normal for like a day after that. You know what I mean? Like you just kind of still feel like your body's like just recovering from having that fever for so long.
I never really actually had the fever with the COVID. I felt like I had a fever, but I didn't.
I don't think I've got COVID. Because I mean like from what I've heard, like Omicron symptoms are really mild. And is that the one that's going around? I don't even know anymore.
Who knows?
Yeah, so I don't think it was that. I think it was just, sickness. There's just sickness going around.
Does exist.
And when you have kids, you can't avoid it because they're always going out and playing with their kids. They're playing at the playground. And it's like when you don't have kids, you can just isolate. You're in your house by yourself. You don't have to worry about it. But like once you have kids, it's like I said, it's living in a petri dish with them. Like you can't escape it. You can't escape it. They're always coming home with something. Anyway, okay. So where are we? Did we talked about iPad OS and Watch OS? Are we good with those, Lewis?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I can't find the notes on the Watch OS, but
oh, perfect.
I don't know if there was that much more about it. I mean, I think it was just vague stuff about.
Yeah, it was vague stuff. Yeah.
And
you mentioned
maybe new sleep and medication management options is another thing that I finally found the link. Additional metrics for running workouts, just in case you're not getting quite enough data about your running.
And you mentioned the sleep mode on Apple or WatchOS, right?
New, just
The
no,
overhaul
like
sleep mode.
new sleep
I'm sorry,
monitoring stuff, right?
I meant low power mode.
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay, because I thought that was huge. Because I kind of hate the low power mode on the Apple Watch right now. Like, it basically makes your watch useless, right? Like, if you want to check the time, you gotta like hold the button down for like a full second for the time to come on. It's completely useless.
I,
So like,
I've never
if
used it.
you've never used the low power mode on your Apple Watch,
No,
never?
I just dismiss it. I mean, I just dismiss it and put on a different watch.
What, you mean put on like a different Apple Watch or just a completely
Yeah,
different watch?
yeah, different Apple Watch.
How many Apple Watches do you have?
2.5.
What's the half one?
Original one, and the screen popped off.
You've got the original Apple Watch
Yeah,
still?
sitting right there on my desk.
Why
and
would
this
you keep
sad little
that?
screen popped up? What am I to do with it?
That throw it away. That thing is an absolute turd.
Oh, dear heavens!
What
So near
a
and dear to
turd
my
that
heart.
thing was. Oh man, I've said this before, so apologies if you guys have already heard this. I kept like the Series 0 Apple Watch was such a terrible product. It was a proof of concept. I kept waiting for it to get better, but it was so slow. And I kept thinking, oh, they're gonna fix this with an update. No, they never did.
Yeah.
It
I
was
remember
just
that-
always that bad.
That spinning, waiting for an app to launch all the time.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah, that thing was terrible. I was so happy to get rid of mine. So yeah, one of the things that Gurman mentioned in one of his reports, and I don't remember which one, was that they're going to overhaul the lower power mode for the Apple Watch, and you can actually interact with it and use it still, which I thought was going to be a super useful feature. So okay, you already talked about that though, so I'm not going to.
I glossed over it because I'm not that excited about it.
Okay, well clearly I'm more excited about it than you are.
You are. You're clearly excited.
Well,
You appear to be sweating with excitement.
I'm perspiring with enthusiasm for the
Got
Apple Watch
a
feature.
certain glow about you.
You're just gonna see it start dripping down here. It's gonna be like that Key and Peele or sketch where that guy is being asked about his browser history. Did you ever see that one?
No.
Oh man, that's a classic. You have to go check that out. Where this guy comes home and his wife wants to talk to him about his browser history. And he just starts sweating and it's just dripping down his face, you know? Anyway, let's see here. Where are we? Sorry, this show is just all over the place. We lost our way probably like 30 minutes
I blame
ago.
the fever.
And not only that, but like Lewis and I spent 40 minutes talking before we even went live.
It was such a diligent show.
We did like the whole show already before we went live.
Oh my god.
Okay, so I think that the only thing to talk about now, Lewis, is going to be Mac OS. So let me talk about Mac OS, and just to be totally honest, we don't know a ton about Mac OS. No one seems to know very much about it. But now that the transition to M1 is complete, I think that we're going to be in for a lot of Apple Silicon exclusive features, and it's going to be kind of a bummer for those that don't have an Apple Silicon Mac, because they're going to be left behind now. This is why as soon as the Silicon Macs started coming out, people were asking me like, is it still worth buying an Intel Mac? And I was like, do not buy an Intel Mac. They are preparing to leave you behind. And I think now they're going to start doing it. Like you'll still get some features, but their focus now is going to be on Apple Silicon, and all their newest best features are going to be for those computers. And I think we're going to start seeing those jammed into Mac OS. We're also, according to Gurman, going to see an overhaul to system preferences. Now, here's a marquee feature for you guys. An overhaul to system preferences that is going to, quote, make them more in line with settings in iOS. And that's pretty much all we know at this point. So there will be many surprises in store for us for Mac OS. Mac OS, I was going to say, might be my favorite OS. I think iOS probably is, but I love my Mac, as many of you know. And those are usually the features that I'm most excited about, because it just makes my machine feel fresher and gives it all these new features. I think that's it. We're looking at a mostly hardware or software-centric WWDC22 here. Maybe a MacBook Air, but for the most part, we're going to have a lot of features. I would say relatively exciting features. I don't think there's going to be anything huge that anyone is going to be, mouth agape over, but a lot of small to medium features that are going to improve our lives and make our gadgets better. So there you go. That's it, Lewis. Those are our WWDC 22 predictions, expectations. But we've got more show here to go.
Wow.
We have
do you have the energy to continue?
Well, thankfully, I'm going to have you do the talking because this is
I
your
see.
segment. This is your under review segment for the week.
Gotta do the giveaway first.
That's right. Before we do that, let's talk
Just to
about
mention-
let's talk about the giveaway, and then you can do your pick for under review this week.
Yeah, just to mention, this week the giveaway, it's the same as last week. And if you didn't hear last week, it's the Mophie 3-in-1 Magsafe travel charger. This is the thing that I think it lists for $149. It's a great little travel charger, 3-in-1, charges an iPhone, AirPods, Apple Watch. You know, it doesn't have to be an iPhone. I suppose you can actually charge an Android too.
Yeah, you can do that too, but I wouldn't.
But it's a fantastic looking thing. Oddly enough, in the past week, Ed Hardy from Cult of Mac reviewed this thing. He loved how portable it was. He gave it 4 stars. Only negative thing he had to say about it was it didn't charge up his iPhone quite as fast as some other chargers.
Huh.
Which I found a little surprising. Mophie makes quality stuff. I'm a little surprised to hear it's a little slower. Anyway,
I mean, it could have also been here's the thing about that. Let me just make a comment about that real fast. I've noticed that with some chargers, well, actually with pretty much all chargers, the capacity of the charging brick that you use makes all the difference. Because I've had that same problem with the different chargers that I have. I even have a MagSafe too, and I feel like it's kind of slow if I plug it into a normal charging brick, like 20-watt
block.
What's that?
Well, the wrong block. Yeah. Well, here's where that argument falls apart. Erfan, you ready for this? This thing comes with one, so he's using the thing that it comes with.
Oh, okay. Well, then that argument goes out.
30-watt brick that it comes with. So
it's 30 watts too.
Yeah. So I mean, I was a little surprised. Like I said,
okay.
So anyway,
I'm with you.
The good news is, you go to the homepage, cultofmac.com. You scroll down to the giveaway. You can enter this. If you win, we're giving away 3. You win, you can find out just how fast it charges your iPhone. I'm guessing it's fast enough.
That's a real lure right there, Lewis. You got him. They're like, you can find out for yourself how fast this charges. Now there's a challenge. Who is going to be able to turn down that challenge? And all you have to do for the possibility to be able to find out how fast this charges your gadgets is go to cultofmac.com, scroll down to the giveaway section. It's going to take you 10 seconds, and then enter to win. And you know what? You got a chance of winning it.
Competition is stiff, though, man. I've entered under 17 different aliases.
You have? You're like, normally I always win our giveaways, but this time I noticed that there was a lot of entries. I may not actually win it for myself. So there you go. If you want to enter to win a really cool Mophie charger that charges all your devices, and there's so many charging mechanisms with Apple devices these days, isn't it? It's just really kind of annoying.
Yeah.
But this kind of solves all your problems.
Traveling. Oh my God, this thing looks great for traveling.
Yeah, it's kind of perfect for it. Okay, let's move on to an all-new under review where we talk about the products that we're testing out. If you guys can't tell, we're going to try and do this on a more regular basis. So we're going to try and have a product for you guys every single week. So if you have a product that you're like, you know what, I would love you guys to test this, use it, and talk about it on the show, let us know, because we're always looking for new product ideas. And, we would love to review something that you all would actually want to hear us talk about instead of just things that we're interested in. So reach out to us on Twitter if you have any suggestions, or just drop them in the chat. That also works. All right, Lewis, it's all you. Take it away.
I got a hot one this week.
I know. You know what's funny is as soon as you joined Skype, I noticed that you were wearing this, and I didn't say anything right away.
But you're just chuckling.
It's very
it's eye catching, right?
Well, it's not just eye catching, but I mean, talk about something that looks like it came out of a Marvel movie. It looks like it came out of an Iron Man movie.
Yeah, I should take it off, right? There's literally no way to show something on your wrist, right? This is the
we've tried that before.
Juke Vetero. I don't have any idea if you can see that.
Yeah, we can see it.
Juke Vetero Apple Watch band in crimson. This one it's a really like total Iron Man, red with a gold stripe down the center. It's and what really makes it look like kind of Iron Man-y is that it's got these sort of arrow-shaped links, right?
Yeah.
They're custom designed by Juke, this fantastic maker of Apple Watch bands. I've wanted one of these ever since I saw one. And Juke, they're kind of small production. Sometimes it's hard to get certain models, whatever. They come up on the website, they disappear from the website. These are in the Cultimax store, by the way. And this is a review unit. I finally got a review unit. And to be honest, I was a little nervous about requesting one just because I mean, it looks like something that Iron Man would wear, right?
It looks exactly like
an
an
Iron Man
suit.
They
Yeah,
even
it looks exactly like it.
They even use an Iron Man image on the Juke website to advertise this thing, right?
They do? Oh boy.
Which I can't believe that Marvel doesn't bust them for that. But so the thing that made me nervous about it is that it looks pretty rugged and almost like sinister, almost like it might hurt, right?
Uh-huh.
I was afraid that this was going to be super uncomfortable. I've never had a band, a metal band shaped like this, and it's got this little butterfly clasp in the back of it or in the bottom of it, right?
Uh-huh.
And I didn't know how these things worked.
Oh yeah.
I never had
I've never
watch.
seen one of those either, actually.
I saw Leander wearing one of these one time, and I was like, oh my god, that looks like that would be putting pressure on your wrist. It just looked, I don't know, it just looked uncomfortable to me. It's super easy. You kind of like clip it on. You just it kind of snaps in place. It makes it easy. So I thought this was also going to be a hard watch band. Tell me the truth. You get a different Apple Watch band. Isn't there like at least a 1 week period where you're going like, how do I get this thing on without dropping it? Because everyone's different. If it's a sport band or it's a this or that, I mean, the only ones that are really easy right out of the box is those hideous Velcro ones, right? Which I wear because they're so easy.
You mean the sport bands?
The sport loop, whatever. I don't remember what it's called.
You don't like.
I don't like the look of them. I love the utility.
Those are probably like my favorite ones. Actually, really? I take that back. Like my all-time favorite one was the Frodo Baggins Mithril. What do they call those? The metal link.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah. The Milanese loop.
Milanese loop. Yeah. Those things, I thought that watch or that band would have been super uncomfortable. It would have pulled your arm hair and stuff. Let me see if I can pull this up. But that was one of the most comfortable bands that I've used.
It's like butter, right?
And it looked great. Like it just matched pretty much everything that I pull up Milanese. If you don't spell it right, you're gonna get a nice pasta dish here.
And you're making me hungry.
That Milanese does look good. Yeah, there we go. So that's the one I had. I had the silver Milanese loop, and man, that thing was so comfortable, and it just was classy looking too. Actually, I would love to get that graphite one. That is a beautiful band right there.
Yeah, I gotta say, the first time I saw that one, I was like, oh, that thing looks great, and I was also like, yeah, I cannot spend that much money for an Apple Watch band because I mean, mostly I'm wearing these things for everyday wear. I'm not going out to fancy dinners. I don't need to look like Johnny Ive on vacation. But this thing, I don't know. I really get a kick out of this Juke Vetero one, and they make this thing. I mean, it's not just red. I wanted the red one just because I got a red Apple Watch. I've had a difficult time finding appropriate bands for it. Things that it's a weird looking watch, right? I mean, I bought it during the COVID lockdowns just to like give myself something to smile about every day.
Which watch are you talking about?
The red one. The red one.
Oh yeah, that is a bold choice. I was surprised that you went red. I wouldn't have pegged you as a red guy.
It's an odd thing, right? And it's especially odd because it's hard to find a band that matches it. This one does, but Juke also makes this exact same model in different colors. Like there's I think a gray one, dark gray one with a blue stripe.
Yeah, I was just looking at that. They got all sorts of different colors. Whoops, if I can find it.
There's and. So basically, any color you want, it exists. It's super lightweight. It's made out of strong, I think 6000 series aluminum. So it's very lightweight, shockingly comfortable. And here's the other thing I was worried about. I was worried about getting it to fit, right? Because I remember being like 14 and having one of those stretchy watch bands and trying to like take out the right number of links to make it fit. Oh my God. Like I just remember I'm traumatized by that.
It sounds like a nightmare.
This is kind of easy with these things. Juke includes with every band, they include this little tool. Can you see that thing?
Yeah, it looks like a SIM ejection tool.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
whoa, that thing's crazy.
yeah, it's a little different.
It's like
than
a
that.
little silver. It's like an aluminum ingot with some spikes sticking off of it.
Yeah, yeah. So you use the short spike to like disconnect the little pin, and these are custom made pins that you came up with.
Mhm.
They're not, like they actually make a big deal out of. These are, have a concave, whatever, easier for people to do at home because I'm not the only person been traumatized by this over time.
Right.
So you use a little one to pop the pin, and you use a long one to shove the pin out. Comes with a couple of extra pins.
Okay.
And then when you're putting it back together, there's a little tiny pin, which there's no way you could ever see it on the video. I can barely see it when I'm looking at it. Use that to pop the thing back in place. The only difficulty I had, I mean, aside from the fact I had to try a couple of times to get the right length, I had a hard time like knowing for sure that I got the pin back in place. I was, it says in the instructions, they have very good instructions on how to do this, by the way. But it says like, you'll hear a noticeable click. I heard the noticeable click like one time. I had to take out like 2 or 3 things. Other times I never did. And I'm like, oh my God, is my band going to explode the next time?
Your watch is just going to go flying off into the street.
No. I just, because I didn't.
That's a good thing you have 2.5 more.
But anyway, no problems since then. Got it. It took like 5 or maybe 10 minutes to get the right size. And now I'm not nervous about it anymore. Anyway, I'm happy wearing it. It's definitely a wild look.
You know what people love hearing on an audio podcast is a guy describing how to change the pins in his watch band.
Well, weren't you curious about how to do it?
Honestly, I never had even thought about that once in my life because I have never used a band that required to change pins, so it's not something that I ever even thought about. And you poo-pooed the sport band. That happens to be my favorite band, Lewis.
Oh, I'm just saying I don't necessarily like the way it looks.
Oh, okay.
Metal band is not for everyone, right? But I was worried that it was going to be difficult to deal with, and I was pleasantly surprised that it's not.
This conversation has made me want to go back and buy the Milanese Louvre because I forgot how much I loved it. And just looking at the pictures online here, I'm like, oh, that was such a beautiful watch band. Anyway,
I got to mention one more thing.
Sure.
We just got these back in the Cultimax store.
Yep.
Just today. Just re-added. Just back in stock. Juke Ligero Rainbow.
Whoa.
Watch band.
That
Look
is
at that.
a very bright and bold watch band.
Yeah. You want to talk about eye-catching. So
you want to talk about eye-catching. Trademark. That's a slogan right there.
Well, so when I got this package from Juke, I opened it up and they sent like I can't remember the brand or the model number, but there's a one that's very feminine, which I got from my wife.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, that's nice. And then she saw this one. She's like, oh my God. And I'm like, yeah, sorry, that's for the big watch. Sorry, it's not gonna fit yours. But she was like gaga over that thing. She loved it, wanted it immediately, like way more than the one she got, right? Which of course felt awesome.
She likes the rainbow, huh?
Fantastic. Yeah, she loves it, and it is quite a striking band. This is also made out of really lightweight and yet durable aluminum. It's got the same kind of pin mechanism. Comes with the same whatever little tool to. So, like I said, just back in the Cultimax
Can you
store.
hold that one up a little higher? I wonder what.
It's a fine looking.
I wonder
band.
what George Takei would say about that. Let me guess.
I think I know.
Oh my!
You should send him one.
Okay, so those are your under review picks. Those are some solid watch bands, man. Like those are some solid metal watch bands. You could probably block a bullet with with one of those. No joke. Those things are chunky and hunky.
I don't know if you got to show people all the other color combinations.
I did. I was showing them to them while you were talking. Yeah, they get a bunch of different ones.
They are good looking bands, and like I said, I was always a little hesitant just because they're. I was a little nervous about the pins and would that thing be stabbing me in the wrist? Because I'm pretty. I don't know. You want it to be tight. You want it to be tight, right? Mm-hmm. You want that band to be tight enough that you actually get heart rate stuff. I've
That's
used
right.
this while exercising. It's tight enough that it works, and yet it's still comfortable. It was no problem. So
That's a good point. You need them to be tight enough that they actually will measure your heart rate. It's so annoying, isn't it? I don't know if this ever happens to you. It happens to me occasionally where I will go out and I'll be doing something and exercising, and my watch just spins. It like can't tell what my heart rate is. And then I have to like...
You wonder if maybe you've passed on.
I'm like, I start freaking out, right? But then what I have to do is like I'll take it off and I'll like wipe down the sensor on the back and I put it back on and it starts working again.
Huh.
Has that ever happened to you?
I've never had that happen, but I don't sweat, so
You don't ever sweat. You're like a dog. You just
I
pant,
perspire.
right?
I do a lot of panting. Yes.
Hey, you know who else pants, Lewis?
Who?
Chickens. Did you know that?
Chickens pant?
I had no idea. Yes. Like when it gets hot outside, like I'll look in my chicken coop and they're all just going with their little beaks open. And
Wow.
I didn't know that they were doing that. It just never occurred to me that they were actually panting. And I kept asking my wife, I'm like, why are their mouths all open like that? And we looked it up. That's how they cool off. They pant.
Wow. Now that yet another strange digression.
I should know. I'm the chicken lord, Lewis. And I've got 9 chickens now. 9 chickens wandering around. And you know what I've realized about chickens, Lewis? It's an addiction for people. And I told my wife this. I said, you're addicted. You're addicted to these dang chickens. And what you do is you start off with like a red hen. And then you're like, oh, like I want one of those fluffy white ones. And then you get one of those and you're like, I'd love to have one of those black skinny ones too. And there's so many different varieties of chickens out there.
It's like Beanie Babies.
It's exactly like Beanie Babies. You
Got
got to collect them all. And now you have all these crazy looking weird birds walking around your yard, and they all have a different look to them, a different demeanor. I mean, they're all terrible for your yard. I freaking hate how much chicken poop is everywhere. There's flies everywhere in my yard now because the chickens are always getting out, pooping everywhere. And they got these like strong little legs. So they're like constantly walking around your yard with their little legs and they're trying to dig up bugs and they're looking for bugs. So they'll tear up your yard, tear up your flower beds. Like they don't care at all. But you know what? They are oddly soothing. Like when I was, I spent some time in my yard yesterday just because I was trying to take my mind off the fact that I felt horrible. And I was just sitting there and I just heard like the little chicken noises. They're like, and they're just walking around. I look up and they're sitting in the sun. And this one chicken I have, little lady, she's the red one. She actually made her CultCast debut months ago. I don't know if you remember. And she'll lay down. She'll lay down on her tummy, and then she'll just put her wings up in the air, and then she'll just lie there and like kind of shimmy in the sun. I don't know why she does it, and it's oddly soothing. Just seeing them like roam around the yard and just lay around in the sun. It's kind of nice.
Is it better than a meditation app?
Well, I think it's probably better than meditation app because it actually takes your mind off your troubles. It's like look at that little chicken there. Look how much it's enjoying its life.
So the big question is, how many eggs a day do you get?
Oh well, right now most of those good for nothing chickens don't do anything. So
what?
I told them, I said, you better start producing some eggs because if I'm not eating your eggs, I'm eating you. I'll wring your little chicken necks. But now my daughters all think they're pets, so like. It
becomes complicated.
This is the strangest thing, man. Yeah, like my daughters will get home and they will immediately run out to the coop and pick up a chicken and then literally carry the chicken around all day. So everywhere they go, they got like a chicken under their arm and they carry him around and the chickens just sit there being carried around,
These chickens are just pampered, man.
Yeah.
So you need to go out there with one of those giant butcher knives and just say, hi, how you guys doing? Any eggs today?
And then I'll drag the knife along the edge of their coop so you can hear it go clink, 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 clink. Or I'll go out there with my steel and just start serving.
Getting kind of hungry.
I don't even know what I'd have to do.
Oh, it'd be delicious. An egg.
I don't even know if I could do it, man. Could you kill a chicken? I don't know if I could do it. I honestly don't know. It's just looking at you going.
How hungry I was.
It thinks you're friends, right?
Yeah.
And you're gonna and how do you even do it? how would you even cut its head off? It's not like the chicken's gonna just put its head down and be like, okay, boss, go for it. You gotta like somehow,
wring its neck.
Ring its little chicken neck. What does that even mean?
Just grab it by the neck and
Just
swing it around.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's hardcore, Lewis.
It is hardcore, man. Yeah, those chickens in the grocery store.
Mm-hmm.
So, they went out some way too, and it was nowhere. I guess
do people ring chickens' necks? I don't even know.
Have I not told this story? I had a neighbor right across the street from me in San Francisco.
Uh-huh.
Her entire backyard was filled with chickens, and she would one day she took a chicken, at least one chicken, out in the front yard on the street in San Francisco, the hilly street, and she was killing them. And there's chicken blood all over the street, and they were videotaping this whole thing, and it was like, what in the world is going on?
How did she do it?
I don't even know. I
mean, if there's blood everywhere,
I wasn't like, staring at it while it happened, but I was aware that there was something going on, and of course, the entire neighborhood was like, oh my God, she's killing chickens in the street.
There is a machine that they use that I stumbled on. So there's this website that I use called Slick Deals that basically just shows deals on stuff that are going on sale.
A chicken beheading machine.
And they had this machine that you could use to defeather your chickens. And I was like, what?
You're kidding me.
Like, what is this machine?
Wow.
And so I click on it, and they have a video showing how it works. And this is like one of the most incredible machines. So you after you kill the chicken, obviously, it's like the Sarlacc pit from Star Wars. It's literally what it looks like. It's like a big barrel, and then it has a bunch of rubber spines that stick out from the sides and the bottom, right? And you throw the chicken in, and this thing spins around like a cement truck.
Oh my
and
God.
Just by, I don't know how it works, but with all the rubber spines, they grab onto all the feathers, and this thing pulls all the feathers out. I mean, there is not a single feather left on the bird once you throw it in this machine and turn it on.
Oh boy, how much does that cost?
It was like $400.
Oh.
Which I think it was on sale, which is why it appeared on Slick Deals.
Probably not that much demand for those, although for a minute there,
not in the city.
It was quite the big hobby, right? I mean, everybody's like, back to nature. We got chickens.
Yeah, but no one who has chickens in the city, none of the city people are killing their chickens and eating them. they're like pets, or they eat their eggs. Like we get eggs from them, but we don't kill any of them. And of course, the thing is like once you have a chicken collection, you're like, what do you do if one of them gets sick? I'm like, because you can't take a chicken to the vet. A chicken, believe it or not, is like a rabbit. It's an exotic animal. You can take a dog to the vet. You can take a cat to a vet. They're not working on your chicken. So if you have a chicken get sick, my wife's like, well, we'll just let it die. And I'm like, you can't just let it die. We got to do something for it. If it gets sick, like we have to try to help it. And I don't want to take that dang thing to the exotic vet. Do you know how much they charge for the exotic vet? It's like $200 to go to the vet. And so now you have these animals that you think you're going to spend no money on, and then one of them gets a bot fly, and you got to take the dang thing to the vet for it to get checked out. It's just crazy, man. Don't let anyone
get the bird flu outbreak.
Well, I guess there is a bird flu outbreak going around. I heard that. My dad was just telling me, he's like, dude, you better be careful with those chickens, boy. He's like, bird flu. What's that?
Have you found yourself clucking?
No. But I have been going like this with my head a lot, bobbing it back and forth, and then I go, and I saw a roly-poly in my yard, and I just couldn't even control myself. I just went, and I just grabbed it.
You're totally clucked, dude.
Oh man, this has gone way off the rails. I think we should.
Yeah, what happened?
I don't know, but we ran out of content, and we started winging it here. Started winging it, Liz.
Oh, my God.
That's it. That's the sign. That's the sign right there. I can't believe I actually made it. Lewis sounds like he just contracted COVID right there. So we're going to go ahead and wrap it up there. That's all the CultCast we have for you guys this week. The keynote event is Monday, Lewis. We probably should have mentioned that. So we'll be excited to talk more next week about everything that was announced by Apple. But until then, that's all the CultCast we have for you guys this week. Hey, if you want the party to continue, we're on the new Twitter, duking it out, man. Just throwing blows. I'm at Airfon, ERFON. Lewis is at Lewis Walsh. This has been the CultCast, the best 30-plus minute up conversation you're going to hear all week long. New episodes of the CultCast come out every Thursday night. Thanks to everyone for listening and for listening to me cough the whole episode. Thanks for watching live. We will we'll see you guys next time. Made it, Lewis. There's only 2 points within that episode where I thought I might pass out.
Only 2.
I'm probably dehydrated.
One of them, my amazing description of how to pop out links out of a watch band. Was that one of them?
Oh, man. Yeah, that was definitely one of them. And to be honest, it had nothing to do with being sick.
Career highlight.
I just don't think there's any more content, more compelling audio content than listening to someone describe how to change a link in a watch band. You know what, though? That's what the people come here for. Because we can make even a watch band segment sound interesting. You think Gruber could do that? Get out of here. He can't even make the regular content interesting. I'm just joking.
You're on the rebound now.
I know. That was inappropriate. All right, everyone. Have a great weekend. I'm hovering towards the end stream button as we speak. Firm handshakes to you all. Bye.